All right, let's just say it. A lot of modern video games suck. Not because they don't look good, not because they're technically broken, though some are. It's because they're bloated, they're shallow, they're agenda-driven messes.
Don't joke about something like this.
That forgot the golden rule. Make a great video game first. You know, Assassin's Creed Shadows, you know, it's like a checklist simulator wrapped in cultural posturing. Avowed, the same thing. Looks like it was designed by a committee trying to hit every checkbox on the progressive marketing calendar so people wouldn't be offended.
But let's not dwell on unpleasant matter.
Dragon Age the Veilguard, the same thing. Dialogue that has been run through committees.
If you are neither a man nor a woman, then what are you?
Non-binary. I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on.
These games don't respect your time or your intelligence. They're built to generate SEO, not soul. They treat players like consumers of content, not explorers out in a world. It's like every AAA title now is a glorified pitch deck for a TV series, a Funko Pop line, or a Twitter trending moment. Narrative is no longer about immersion, it's about messaging. And frankly, it's exhausting. So I went backwards, way back. Playing old games, it feels so good. And I just finished playing Half-Life. I mean, 100% finished this game. Every secret, every enemy, every inch of that alien-infested research facility I went through, and I went through it multiple times. And I have to admit, it shook me. Not because it was new, not because it was trendy, but because it reminded me of why I fell in love with video games in the first place. Now, I didn't play Half-Life when it first dropped back in 1998 on the PC, on the Windows PC. I somehow missed it. You know, I was a console kid, I was an NES kid, I was a PlayStation 1 kid, a Genesis kid, and in 1998 I was off at college, University of Pittsburgh, and I didn't have access to a PC. I would go to the computer lab if I needed to write a paper or something like that. So having a PC in my dorm room? No. So this game was totally new to me. But now, playing this game all these years later in 2025 on Steam using a controller, it was like tapping into a part of my brain that I hadn't accessed since I was 10 years old. And yeah, I would sit at my parents' PC and I'd play with a mouse and keyboard. I wasn't using a controller, of course. But even though I was using the Steam Deck for most of this, it really hit me in the nostalgic feels, I'm going to say. There was a moment about halfway through this game, somewhere around the questionable ethics chapter. By the way, I love the names of these different chapters because they stick with you and you remember them. And you remember the ones that stand out. But the questionable ethics chapter, I sort of sat back and I realized, you know, this is what games used to feel like. No hand-holding, no exposition dumps, no map markers or crafting tutorials. No 2-hour tutorial sequence that's taking you through all of the mechanics. No. It's just me, it's my wits, and it's the physics engine. You know, Valve wasn't trying to create a franchise to sell toys or to pitch a show to HBO hoping they'd get an 8-part, mini-series or something. They were just making the best damn game that they could imagine. And that's what this video is all about. It's part review, it's part history lesson, part industry roasting a little bit. And I went through and did a lot of research on the history of this game because, again, it was new to me. So let's be honest, the games industry today is allergic to risk and it's obsessed with cinematic universes. You know, how can we make the next MCU? But Half-Life, it was pure and it was brave and it still holds up today.
Coming to a Dreamcast near you.
So let's rewind. It's the late 1990s. Shooters were basically one of two flavors. You had Doom clones or you had Quake engine flexes. You know, narrative was totally optional. Characters? Who cares about characters, right? You were there to shoot demons. You were there to grab keys. You were there to sprint through mazes at 90 miles an hour. You don't care about characters or story, right? And then Valve shows up. Half-Life didn't reinvent the wheel, it changed the road. It threw out the idea of separate levels and it replaced it with one massive interconnected world. It told a story in the gameplay, not around it, but through the gameplay. You didn't stop to watch a cutscene, you lived the cutscene. You were Gordon Freeman, and the game never let you forget that you are Gordon Freeman. For me, the nostalgia hit wasn't even specific to Half-Life. It was the feeling of sitting at my parents' PC in Pennsylvania in the early 1990s, hand on the mouse, finger on the keyboard, trying to survive in worlds that were way over my head, whether it was Bard's Tale or, Icewind Dale. I used to boot up games like Duke Nukem, Wolfenstein, Civilization, Stronghold by Firefly Studios, one of my all-time favorite games. And here I was decades later doing the same thing, but now I've got a controller in my hand, I'm sitting on my couch, I'm using my Steam Deck, eyes wide open like a kid again. I mean, that's really how I felt as this game launched for the first time. I felt like a kid again. That's the magic of Half-Life. It bridges eras. It reminds you of what it means to explore, to solve problems without prompting you, to fight your way through chaos, not because the plot told you to, but because it was your only way forward. So Half-Life doesn't give you a big cinematic intro or a lengthy monologue before it throws you into the game. No. It gives you a tram ride, like you're at Disney World or something on the monorail. It's a slow, sort of silent journey through Black Mesa that says more in 5 minutes of ambient sound and subtle visual storytelling than most games do in 5 hours of dialogue. Now, I sat in my bed for the first few hours of this game, and I had my headphones in. So I was just getting the ambiance of this tram ride, and I'm in this weird facility and I'm hearing like ambient voices on loudspeakers. Like, what the heck?
Black Mesa compound is maintained at a pleasant 68 degrees at all times.
It's disorienting in the best way possible. You don't know who you are. Do I work here at this facility? Am I visiting someone? Am I being taken to a briefing or a medical wing of this building? You're just there, sitting, watching this strange sort of sterile corporate industrial complex roll by. No one explains anything to you. I'm like, hey, can I drive the tram? What am I supposed to be doing? And in that way, it's so confident. It's so bold. Most games would have thrown you into a training mission with a tutorial pop up. Valve said, nope, sit tight, just watch, listen, shut up. That sense of confusion you feel, that it's immersive. You feel like a cog in the machine. You're talking to these weird scientists with these weird voices. Like, Gordon Freeman, I see you're here today. Well, we got a job for you today. You're like, what? What am I doing? What?
Gordon, here you are. We just sent the sample down to the test chamber.
We've boosted the anti-mass spectrometer to 105%. Bit of gamble, but we need the extra resolution.
Just another guy reporting for duty. No main musical theme. There's no music. There's no here's what you missed. It's just an automated voice reminding you to not bring unauthorized materials into the facility. Do not bring unauthorized materials into the facility. Like, what? Where am I? And that's the brilliance of this game. It pulls you into this world before you even touch a button. There's no exposition dump, no commander barking orders in your earpiece. You are Gordon Freeman. You're a normal dude. You're a theoretical physicist turned accidental action hero, and your day is about to spiral into complete chaos. You didn't expect this when you woke up this morning. Hey, you're going to be fighting aliens when you get to work this afternoon. That's incredible, by the way, that you never leave Gordon behind. You are Gordon the whole time. Not once. There's no third-person perspective. No flashbacks, no dramatic camera pans so you see who you are, your face, none of it. You are the camera. You are the story. And that level of immersion, it's really rare now, I must say. I have to say the only game that really reminded me of this in some kind of way is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the new game. For most of that game, you're in this first-person camera perspective, and it's phenomenal. You feel like you're Indiana Jones. Until you get some jumping sequences and you see that, yes, there he is with the hat and everything, and you can see his face, the character models. But for the most part, you are the camera. So that was refreshing, I have to say, in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but we do not see that a lot in a lot of modern games. The mechanics in this game, they do not hold your hand. You got a crowbar at the beginning of the game? Yeah. Well, guess I should start smashing some stuff. You only discover that because you start doing it. No one's telling you to do it. You want to learn how to survive in Half-Life? You have to figure it out. There's no blinking arrow telling you what to do, no glowing objective markers. There's no white paint on a windowsill for you to climb through. Not that I mind that. Otherwise, sometimes you get stuck for hours, right? There's just a wrench, a gun, some puzzles, a crowbar, and a world that actively wants to kill you around every corner. Like, what are these aliens doing jumping at me? What are these Metroid-looking things jumping at my face? It reminded me of something that I loved in Monster Hunter Wilds, a game that I've been playing for many, many hours. You have to grind to earn a full armor set. If you want to get certain armor sets, guess what? You got to go back and fight those guys multiple times to get all the pieces of the armor set. You can't just buy your way to power. You fight, you farm, you get wrecked, you come back smarter, stronger. That's earned progression. I love earned progression, right? We've sort of gotten away from that. Now we give out participation awards for everyone. No, I want you to earn it. Games that don't hold your hand. This is the 1980s, 1990s talking. You have to put in some hard work. Every inch of progress in Half-Life feels like a small victory, like you survive a trap-filled room with 10 HP left and no ammo. That's not bad design, that's tension. You earned that moment. There were plenty of levels that I actually beat with only 1 health point left, no ammunition, hoping like hell that there was like a first aid kit hiding somewhere soon, otherwise I'm screwed. And trust me, I saved my game often. Yes, you're auto-saving regularly, of course, but I was also saving a lot, just making sure. And yes, there was times when I got down to 1 health point and I managed to fight and beat the guy, get through that scene, get through that tight scenario, jump over the electrical water or whatever it was, the toxic spill. Phew, I got around the corner and there was a health pack there. I was able to recharge my suit or whatever it was and survive to fight another day. And then I'd hit save again. Let's talk about puzzles. These weren't pull the lever, open the door puzzles. These are environmental puzzles that force you to think like a scientist. Okay, I've got 3 pools of toxic sludge. How do I drain them so I can get down through that sewer? Because that's the only way out of here. So I've got to figure out a way to drain this stuff out of these large vats, right? How do I stack the crates on top of each other? How do I time my jumps? Or how do I flood an entire chamber? How do I reroute electricity over all of this water that's sitting here that I don't want to step on, otherwise I'll be electrocuted? So you're constantly solving little logic problems like this while bullets are flying past your head and why aliens are jumping at your face. And the best part, there's no prompt. There's no hint system, no glowing object to tell you what to do. You just got to look around, you got to figure it out. And when you do, it's like the best kind of aha moment. Even the enemies are puzzles. You'll walk into a dark hallway, flashlights kind of barely illuminating a vent, and then suddenly, bam! A head crab jumps out in your face. And that jump scare wasn't cheap, it was just earned. Designed to teach you, you need to check around corners. And so I would start to do that, slowly inching my way into dark areas, having my gun ready to go, or even having my crowbar and just ready to take a swipe before I made a turn, because maybe there's something's gonna jump right on my face. Then there's the weapon design. Every weapon in Half-Life feels like it belongs in your hand. The MP5 is snappy and loud. The shotgun hits like a truck, but of course it sucks at long range, so you might as well not try to shoot a guy from across the room. You got to get up right in his face. The crossbow, I love this crossbow. You get this in a level when you have to start shooting things that are under the water. The only thing that'll shoot this like weird shark-like creature under the water is this crossbow. And so, I ended up using this thing. It's silent, it's devastating. I ended up using this as my primary weapon later in stages because it was so damn devastating. One hit, you take down big guys. It was really, really effective. The glue-on gun, you have this whirling death beam that turns enemies into pulp, but you don't have a lot of energy to it, so you got to be really smart about how you use it. And you earn it, like no skill trees, no crafting system. It's just you earn these things with well-paced progression throughout the game. Now let's talk about the fear and isolation of this game. Half-Life is a horror game, in my opinion. Not in the gore and jump scare way, but in its tension and isolation way. Like, hey, do I even have a family that I'm fighting for, trying to get back to? Like, where is this lonely facility? What do I do here? Who am I? Do I know any of these people? They all seem to know me, but they also seem to keep their distance from me and want me to help them. Okay, who am I? It does have plenty of blood and guts, though, let's be honest. And some of it is pretty gruesome, but it's hilarious in a pixel art kind of way. Now, you start off as a scientist, not a soldier. You're not a hero, you're just a guy with a PhD and a crowbar, and the game never lets you forget how vulnerable you are through the whole game. And I died a lot. I mean, electrical outlets, aliens biting my face, stepping in toxic sludge that I didn't know was going to kill me. You name it. I died because of it. The facility feels increasingly broken and hostile as you progress through it. Then the military shows up. Okay, you guys are here to save me. No. They're here to cover everything up. Everything that happened. They kill scientists. They flank you. They outflank you. They're very smart, and they kill you. They're deadly. And they killed me many, many times. At first I was like, hey, some friendlies. Hey guys, over here, we need help. Why are you shooting at me? Because they're shooting at aliens. They're killing the aliens that I'm going to have to fight. So I would just kind of hang back and let them clean the floor, kill a lot of these aliens. But now they're going to try to come after me too. So just when you think you've got a handle on the facility, boom, you go to a place called Zen. Zen, this alien world, is divisive, and I get it. Gravity feels off, the jumps are weird, the world doesn't make sense, but that's the point. You're in an alien world, things shouldn't feel right. It has like Stranger Things vibes, right? Like we open up this rift to this alien world in this weird facility, and I almost wonder if like the Stranger Things team got a lot of their inspiration for Stranger Things from Half-Life. I had moments where I was really annoyed, like, hey, do I have to jump onto this floating mushroom in this environment? Or touch this glowing crystal? Because in the early part of the game, if I touched something glowing, I would die. But that's the test here. Can you unlearn everything that you learned earlier in the game, and now you have to adapt to this entirely new world, this sort of gravity light world of Zen? When you beat Neelanth, it lands hard. Even if you hated Zen, you earned that ending. That ending is hard, and it's crazy, it's freaky, and it is hard as hell. Half-Life changed everything. I mean, we'd have no BioShock, no Titanfall, no Call of Duty campaigns without this, no Titanfall 2. Valve really pioneered these scripted events, environmental storytelling, seamless transitions between these areas. Now, I've read interviews, watched documentaries on this, and the more I've learned about Half-Life, the more I realized this was made by hungry, passionate weirdos who had nothing to lose and everything to prove. We need more game developers like this. We need more games like this. The industry has lost its soul. Modern games are built for engagement metrics. Studios want trailers that trend, not stories that matter. Budgets are too high to take risks now. $300 million, $250 million. Everything has to be IP. Everything has to be live service. Everything has to have a season pass, downloadable skins, all of this garbage. They want to create Netflix series from these games. Like, that's their goal now. Can we turn this into a Netflix series? Can we turn this podcast into a Netflix series? Executives greenlight projects based on hashtags, not heart anymore. Not trying amazing things like Half-Life. And so we get bloat. We get shallow mechanics. We get performative storytelling. We get, I would dare I say, like activist storytelling. Games that look great in trailers but feel like husks when you actually play them. Again, dialogue that's been run through committees, so they're soulless. They feel like, I would never hang out with these people. These people are the fakest people in the world. It'd be like going to like some weird like liberal cocktail party in Los Angeles or something. Like, there's no way I would hang out with these people. They're all fake. But there's hope. Indie games like, Signalis, Ultra Kill, Dusk, still carrying the torch. And I'm sure, I'm missing quite a few others that have really given me hope. Maybe you guys could drop me in the comments like indie games that you're excited about, or ones that have come out recently where you're like, this gives me a lot of hope, I mean, heck, you have a game like Berserker, First Berserker Kazan First Berserker. I don't know, that just came out. And I think this was their first game. So there is some hope out there. This game is, fantastic. It's been on my list to play, Kazan. So again, there's hope out there. Games like Half-Life didn't happen by accident. They happened because people were trusted to build something bold and to take risks. I'm reminded of when NBC was in the crapper and they decided, you know what, we're just gonna take a chance on The Office. It was a success in Britain. Let's just try it for NBC. We were in the toilet. They were in the toilet for ratings. Let's just try it. It became a huge hit. Or when ABC, remember when ABC was in the toilet? No one was watching ABC primetime shows back in the day. And then they launched the show called Lost. They took a big risk. They're like, you know what? We're just going to try this. It's an off the wall. It's kind of crazy. It's way out there. Like, let's just do it. We have nothing to lose, right? Because they were already in the crapper. And I hate that we have to wait for companies who are already in the crapper before they take chances like this. Like, why can't you be on top and take chances like Lost? Why can't you be on top and take chances like Half-Life? No, we have to wait till you're nearly dead, and then you try something bold. And guess what? It revives your entire company. ABC skyrocketed as a result of Lost. NBC skyrocketed because of The Office. Can we do those things without having to be on top? You know, when I hit the credits of this game, I didn't feel relief like, oh, thank God that game's over. I'm done, thankfully. I felt awe, actually. I reflected on all these different levels and the different experiences that I had in this game. I really felt like awe-inspired by this game. You know, back in the early 90s, I'd sit at my parents' PC and I'd get lost in games like Stronghold and Doom. And I didn't need help from anybody. I didn't like look up in some manual how to get through anything. I didn't need help. I just needed freedom. I just loved that experience of exploration. And Half-Life really brought that feeling back. And I was talking to a friend today about it. I said, have you ever played Half-Life? He said, oh, have I played Half-Life? He does the graphics for my channel. And he said, oh my God, Half-Life 2, one of the greatest games I've ever played. He's like, I recently played Half-Life Alyx on VR experience. He said, that was amazing. So I'm excited for where this series goes, and I hope maybe we'll get like a Half-Life 3, maybe at some point. I hope Valve will do that. It'll be bold and crazy, just like these other games. So this wasn't just nostalgia because, you know, I never played this game, but it was nostalgia for this type of game. It was a revival, that joy of figuring things out, of failing, of surviving. And I played most of it on my Steam Deck, in bed, on the couch, late at night. I felt like I was holding a time machine in my hands playing this game. It's kind of fun because I would go back to the menu of my Steam Deck and maybe I'd like launch another game that was more modern. I was kind of playing Indiana Jones simultaneously, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's such a great feeling. It feels like a time capsule to launch this game in handheld mode. So if you've never played Half-Life, play it. Don't wait for a remake. Don't wait for Valve to remember that it exists. Just play it. And if you're a developer watching this, please, for the love of all that's good, stop building Netflix pitches hoping a game turns into a TV series. Start making actual games again. And I'll see you in the comments. And if you like this long-form deep dive of a video, please subscribe to the channel because Half-Life 2 is coming up next, I'm sure. Until then, everyone, stay curious. Don't forget to save your game often, and we'll see you next time, everyone.